Hello, everybody. Welcome to Boss Rush Podcast here on Boss Rush Games. I'm your host, the enlightened, excited Eddie B. Join me, and I love this guy so much, the West Wisconsin Knight, Mr. Jesse Douglas.
Hey, guys.
And of course, the PC Muscle Race, my editor, my bro him himself, Mr. LeRon Dawkins.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Hey Jesse, did you notice he changed the order?
Yeah.
It wasn't like this 4 minutes ago.
No, it wasn't.
Looks like I'm in the doghouse.
And I went with my corny hey guys. So.
Everybody, before we get into the show, we're just going to get to some quick housekeeping, and then we're going to have to introduce you guys to a new second class. This is the Boss Rush Podcast, the flagship show of the Boss Rush Games. Each and every week, we get together with our friends from around the internet to talk about games and everything we love about them. You can find the show on podcast services, YouTube, and our website every Monday morning. If you like the show, remember to hit that subscribe button, and please rate and review us on whenever service you listen on. Follow us on Twitter at Boss Rush Games and join our growing Discord. And also check out our entire family of shows on bossrushgames.com. Also, everybody, we want to welcome our second class family to the Boss Rush Network. You guys can check out Block Game Reviews. He's a YouTuber. Follow him on Twitter at BlocksGameRVWS. Podcast streamer, the Yodelers, THEYOLODERS, the podcast EXPcast. You can follow them at capital E, capital X, capital P, CAST, and the podcast at Console Crew. Follow those guys. Show them some love. You guys, welcome them to the Boss Rush Network. We're going to try to promote them and help them out. You know, they make some fantastic console creations. So, content creating. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said console. But we're gonna get into the show. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Good.
Doing great. I mean, like today is like the first day of sun. Actually, it's the second day of sun we've had this entire week out here in Virginia. Like the weather's been nasty, and I know it's nothing compared to what Texas has seen and what the Midwest has seen and what the Great Lakes states have seen. But it was nasty, cold, wintry, windy rain for almost the entire week. And today's the first day of sun, but I mean it's still in the low 30s here. But I'm not complaining today, like I have been all the previous part of the week.
What about you, Jesse? How have you been?
I've been pretty good actually. I've been having some stuff going on. That's why I haven't been on the show. We actually went and took the kids to go see Disney on Ice last weekend.
Oh, nice.
And so that was pretty cool. It was weird though, because like you have like A to Z section.
Yeah.
And each like section of 50 seats, you're only allowed like one or two families, to keep people's distance.
Yeah.
So not only was half of the stadium that it was at like cut off completely, they also only allowed like I don't know like what like 1/10 of the capacity or whatever. It was cool. It was interesting. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I mean there was still a lot of people, but it was it was nowhere near as many people as you would normally see at this place because it's a big place.
I know for me and LeRon, we watched the Nintendo Direct live and we did a recap, so you guys can check that on our YouTube page and on Boss Rush Games. I have an article up, and Dan has an article up about the Direct. LeRon, what's going on with Crossroads?
Well, you know what? On Tuesday, I'm just gonna say this. I'm not really gonna spill a whole bunch of details, but our Tuesday show at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/Exodus803, my Twitch channel. We've got something very special lined up for you guys, especially if you guys are fans of Resident Evil. So that's all I'm going to say, because check out our Twitter page later this afternoon. Well, later throughout the course of today, you're gonna see some nice stuff. As a matter of fact, we already put a teaser out last night. So head over to @PS_Crossroads over on Twitter, and just wait for the news and announcements to happen, because something special's coming.
Yes, I see. You guys posted with your eyes looking like, what is this? I'm just like the suspense and everything. And everybody, I do not know what it is, so please don't hit me on Twitter trying to find out.
That's right, because we're good at keeping secrets over at Crossroads.
And I'm the co-founder of Boss Rush, and I don't know anything. But that's how things go. I enjoyed the Nintendo Direct. I won't spend too much time on it. I love the fact that they brought 5 new IPs to it. There's just so much diversity in there. I was watching Spawn Wave, and there's a breakdown of everything that's kind of that we know about. There's a lot of stuff coming to Switch until like August, and that's really cool. Seeing that. LeRon, you said you had something to say about my the article.
Yes, yeah. Hey, you know what? I actually enjoyed reading your article, man. And, like everyone knows, I'm not the biggest Nintendo fan, and if anyone was watching the live react, well, not the live react, the recap that on the Pal Block channel, I was one of the PlayStation guys on the channel, and everyone kind of knows, like I'm not the biggest fan of Nintendo. I love my Switch and I love my Nintendo products, but Nintendo is not really my gaming venue in this day and age and stuff like that. But your article that highlighted, like the new IPs and stuff, like that was a good article. And like, if you guys are looking for something new and different to play, like check out Ed's article over at Boss Rush Games, over at bossrushgames.com, and give it a look, because it's a good article. It's a good read.
Thank you, LeRon, for editing and the feedback. I know we had our discussion about one thing, but we have healthy discussions. I will say that, and that's always I love you. I send my love and gummy bears and cheesecake and whatever stuff to make.
Yes, because I love a good bribe.
Jesse, did you get to check it out or anything?
I watched some of it, but unfortunately a lot of the stuff that was on it just wasn't my kind of stuff. Like I'm excited though for finally a Mario Golf. Like I wanted Mario Golf back when we got the tennis game. Like that. I've been waiting for a Mario Golf game for a long time, because I just don't have any way to play it otherwise. Like I don't have any of the older consoles to play any of the Mario games, and like none of them are really backwards compatible or anything on the Switch, so I'm excited for that. I was a little bummed too that I kind of wish that we were getting Wind Waker HD instead of the
So there's a rumor that may come later on in the year.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing is, I'm thinking they're gonna have a legit Zelda Direct.
Yeah, I can see that
because of the it being the 35 years or whatever.
And we was talking about it, and we're gonna get into what we've been playing soon. We was talking about it, saying that like E3 probably is going to be the big thing for Nintendo. Like they're saving it up, because like you want Breath of the Wild 2, you want Metro Prime 4, you want Bayonetta 3, you want the Zelda, you want Mario Odyssey 2, to me ARMS 2, Splatoon 3, maybe talking about like you really want to go in E3 big. And if Nintendo started this year off big with their Direct, it might hurt them later on in the year, because then everybody's going to compare that Direct to, well, what you guys did in February. Where's that at? Nintendo can't always keep the momentum up. Sony,
especially this year. Like Nintendo, from what I've heard from the the talkings of like people who write and do do stuff and talk about things and are kind of like in the background, like trying to find out what's going on. Nintendo got hit pretty hard by the whole COVID stuff and got, so like I think they're right now they're just wanting to just any big kind of thing that they have to talk about, that they're kind of holding on to that for later, because I feel like I think that honestly what we got for the Direct is going to be it until around E3. I don't think we're going to get much more, much this year from them. Because it doesn't sound like, I mean, who knows, like some of those games that we are going to hear about might even, be a little ways further out than we expected.
And I think because to me personally, what I love about this Direct is the diversity. And I told around this, I'm like, when State of Play happened, I want to get with everybody and watch State of Play and nerd out. Like I wish that I was with you, LeRon, when the Returnal happened and everything in the like I wanted that to watch it with y'all and be excited. When Inside Xbox do their big thing, I want to watch it with you guys, because I think when announcements, when there's just a variety and these kind of little Direct things, and hopefully we see this at E3 if they're going to go that route, it's always good to talk about them, and it's always be like, this is not for me, but I did find something for me. And
and that's the thing is, that was a good Direct. Like I said, there was nothing wrong with that Direct. I think they did a great job. It just unfortunately for me, it was, like there was just things that I mean, obviously, like I'm interested in actually the Splatoon 3. Because I'm curious if they're gonna go a little bit more heavy on the storytelling, and like to have more of a campaign in this one. Because 2, from what I understand, I haven't played 2, but I heard that 2 had more of a campaign to it. There was more of like a single player objective kind of mode that you could kind of get more of a story or something. So I'd be interested in seeing that, because I think that would be really cool for that game to get like a like a legit campaign where you're actually playing as that character, like there's some kind of thing that you're doing or story that's being told, because Nintendo's good at telling the story, little tiny, just fun and interesting stories. So
anything, LeRon, did you want to add on or say?
Mainly, I don't know. I think I'm guilty of, like, there was way too much hype and expectation from it, but this is from a guy that, like, after being told from like all the Nintendo fans that this is the first Nintendo Direct in like 500 plus days, I was wondering, like, man, like they're gonna come out swinging for the fences, man. They're just gonna hit grand slams and stuff like that. The Direct itself was not bad for me. It wasn't bad, but as kind of like a former Nintendo fan, there are certain key things I was looking for, and one of those key things was something Metroid, especially given it's the 35th anniversary for Metroid this year. I would have loved to just seen something, just something, first Nintendo Direct of the year. Nintendo, I was also thrown by the fact that, even though it was a Nintendo Direct, like they actually had a lot of third-party presence on there, which was great, honestly. Yes. Third-party presence and stuff like that. But I was expecting just a little bit more from their first party, from their first-party showings, because Nintendo has like a ginormous like lineup of like first-party first-party IPs and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
I think that's where this COVID stuff though is affecting them. I think it hit them on a first party production level. So they had they're having to rely on third party quite a bit this year, I think.
And I know I told around like with Metroid that they got that new building. I'm just like, and them all that hiring talent that they were still doing, and them moving to that new building. I'm just like, they probably don't got a trailer. They probably got a trailer in mind that they want to cut, but I'm just like, I wonder if production started on it. It has already started, but cutting a trailer for it, man, I really hope they have one. because I can't really defend retro anymore now. I've already said they got their talent. They moved to new place. By E3, they got to show something from Metro Prime 4. They have to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Well, you know, I feel like that might be a sticky spot. You know, I take that into account after you said that and everything, but maybe they had to just scrap all the assets and start over fresh, given that that they're now the studio, which is a shame because of all the talent Nintendo has, in their headquarters and stuff like that, the fact that like Metroid, which Metroid universally isn't like a favorite series, as far as like Japan goes, but I mean. Metroid, in my opinion, kept Nintendo afloat on the West and outside of in other territories where other people like myself was like Mario ain't hitting it for me all the time. Zelda's not hitting it for me all the time. Metroid is though.
LeRon, you may agree with me. Metroid has now become a Western title. It's not.
I agree. I agree.
Like I know that it started in Japan, and maybe that is a discussion for later on games that started in Japan, that was heavily started in Japan. It's now very Western
and has an actual real home in the West. Because and I don't know, I don't really understand why. Because remember when I was on Pal Block a couple of weeks ago, and I actually talked about Super Metroid. Super Metroid almost seems like what Mega Man 2 was to Nintendo, because remember, Capcom didn't want to take a chance. Capcom didn't really want to take a chance on Mega Man 2. They were like, "Hey, do this. Hey, if you guys want to develop it, you develop it. But guess what? Like, we're not going to throw it in behind you." And Super Metroid was almost canceled 3 times in development.
Yeah.
Well, I think part of it. I think part of it too of it hitting here. Is, and I don't know how big of a reason this is, but, you are playing as a female protagonist, like a female character that isn't just eye candy, like a lot of those Japanese games when you're playing as a woman, she's got to, have big boobs and be all, barely wearing, anything. Yeah. But with her, she's just a powerful female character who, is wearing literally armor that you can't see any bit of her body, so it's, I think that helps here too, is because and we do more and more praise when you get to play as different kinds of characters and not just the same thing over and over again.
All I want to see is Metro Prime or Metro Prime 4, but no, Unreal Engine 5. Like, seeing that graphical ability, I might have to call, I'm like, can someone just go check LeRon and see if he's on this bed or something, or if he beef up his computer or something. But we're gonna get into.
Oh wait! You think there's a chance that a Metroid title will wind up on PC? I don't think so.
Well, I don't think so. But what would happen if that happened? If Nintendo start doing PC and Metroid Prime 4 was the first iteration of it? I mean, because they're doing tablet stuff in Japan. I mean, in China, because they don't actually have the Wii. But think about them up-resing Metroid and Unreal Engine 5 and putting it out on PC.
That's a pipe dream. I'll put it like that. And you know what? In all honesty, I don't need to upgrade my computer anymore. Not for a Metroid game. My computer is set now. I mean, my computer can handle Cyberpunk, and we already know what's up with that.
We're going to move on away from that conversation. Let's get what we've been playing. LeRon, what have you been playing?
I have not played a single thing this week, honestly. Actually, no, I take that back. I played 1943 on the Capcom cabinet. On Switch, and I've downloaded the Project Triangle. What is the name of that game?
Project Triangle Strategy.
Project Triangle Strategy. I've downloaded that, but I have not started yet. It will be because it's a demo, and I don't want to. I want to play it to see what the mechanics are, but in all seriousness, I don't want to play it and then be like, whenever this game comes out, I gotta wait for it to come out and play. So it's one of those things. Like I have it on my Switch, but yeah, I haven't started yet.
I got past the cutscene where I was just about to get into battle, and I stopped because we started testing stuff. So probably later on tonight, I'm gonna play. I know we're gonna talk about it on Power Block, but I do want to get your impressions, LeRon, from it.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that means I have to play it now. Thank you very much.
Look, I'm just saying, you and Dan was super hyped about it, and I'm just looking.
We are hyped for it, but it's one of those things. Like I have to curb my enthusiasm because, like, hold on. What's the actual release date for this game? Do we have a release date yet?
2022. That's it.
See, then I really should not play this demo right now.
I think the demo's to give you an idea of how the game plays.
Oh, I know, but if the game is not coming out till maybe a year plus from the time I play the demo, then
yeah, because right now I think it's probably time exclusive, almost like the same way Octopath Traveler. It may be time exclusive.
Wait. So it comes to PC. I won't. I'll be honest with you. Like that the sprite graphics like don't translate well on anyone that has like a high resolution monitor. So well, they're taking a chance if it's not coming to another console.
No, because Octopath Traveler only came to PC. So
exactly, and I refuse to play Octopath Traveler on the PC.
So that's why I was just thinking this may be a time one also. I don't know yet or anything, but that's all you've been playing?
I guess if I have to, I will play it. Now that I know that the game probably won't be out till over. You know what? My fear is that now that we know that the game is not coming out this year, that this game is going to wind up coming out the same day that the Callisto Protocol is going to come out, and then I won't buy it because I'll be playing that game.
Well, Jesse, what have you been playing?
So I haven't been on for a while. So I've been.
Oh, he's got a laundry list. He's got a laundry list.
I downloaded Rainbow Six Siege onto my Xbox, and I kind of went back to that and been playing that a little bit. And I've been playing some Hitman. Some Hitman 2, trying to finish that. I think I only got like 3 more things left on Hitman 2, and then I can jump fully into Hitman 3. Because I did play the first mission in Hitman 3 and beat it, without killing anyone or any of that kind of stuff. But the main game I've been kind of focusing on lately is I bought Horizon Zero Dawn on my PC, and so I've been playing that, and I've got quite a few hours into it already. I'm to the point of where, let's see, I've been you're basically got sent out to go do all these missions and kind of drift around, looking for people and looking for stuff. I just basically finished the storyline with I just started the storyline, I should say, of where you meet up with this one guy at the a bigger camp place, and his sister was killed, and now I'm gonna I can choose to help him track down and find out who killed his sister. But yeah, so I've really been enjoying that game. I knew I would. I played it a long time, or played a little tiny bit a long time ago. But I never really got a chance to sit down and actually play it.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked really interesting and everything. I've always liked the way it looked and stuff. I'm not. I've said it before. I'm not really a fan of the name Alloy. I think it's kind of cheesy, but But other than that, like it's a good game. And I'm really enjoying it. So glad I can finally play it because I didn't think I would be able to play it until I got a PS5. But I wasn't expecting getting a new computer that would be able to play games. So it was it's been fun. I've kind of been looking for other games that I can play on my PC too. I mean, there are some, through Game Pass and stuff like that I've downloaded. Like they just recently added Wreckfest to the PC Game Pass. So I downloaded that today, and I'm gonna play the PC version of that and see how that works. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, so for me, I think I talked about this, but I finished the Frozen Wildlands. Really enjoyed that. Wasn't too long of a campaign. I was able to get it in, do it, and be done with it. Can't wait for Horizon 2. Been playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider on PlayStation 4. I'm almost close to the ending with that. Just really enjoying this game. It looks really good with HDR on it. Because when I originally played it, it was only in 1080, and I played it like on a small 19 screen. Now that I got like a 60-some inch TV, and I can just see the colors like in HDR stuff. I'm just like, oh my goodness, this game looks gorgeous. It looks really good. Trust me, I'm ready to start God of War because I want to see how that looks on it and stuff.
Trust me, HDR is like a game changer for a lot of video games. Like you get to see a lot of HDR is a wonderful way to experience ray tracing without actually having access to ray tracing.
Well, I just got confirmation that my PS5 will be here Thursday, and I will have my.
I
did that.
Well, you know what? I forget because it looks like you and Austin are going to be new PS5 buddies.
Yes. So I will be playing Miles Morales. Getting that, I'm so happy that I got it because now I can do Returnal. So I'm gonna be so ready for Returnal, dude. I'm so hyped for that game. And then Astro Playroom, I hope to also be playing. You know what, LeRon?
What do you mean hope to be playing? It's free. It's already on your system.
Well, yeah, but I like when I started up and I don't get stuck with playing Miles Morales and stuff. Because I think I think the PlayStation 5 that I'm getting is Spider-Man and Miles Morales, so it's the whole collection together. And mine come with an extra controller with it. So shout out to Jack Bro who helped me get one. He was able to secure it, and we're working on our payment plans and stuff. But I was able to, he was able to secure me one. He's keeping NBA 2K21 and the $20 gift card. But I'm getting the extra controller, Miles Morales, and the PlayStation. And once Series X becomes more available, Jesse, I'll have one of those soon. I think what I probably won't do is the backwards compatible stuff on it. Due to space reasons, and some of the games that I've already beaten and got installed on PS4, so I might as well just play it there, beat it, then take it off and be done with it. But for Switch, Nino Kuni, I've been playing Super Mario 3D World. I played with Dan and Jack, and we were cracking. The multiplayer is fun, but when there's so much business going on, sometimes you lose yourself and you'll just fall off and die. You be like, what the heck is going on? But it was so much fun. We were cracking up. And when you play with people who drink, sometimes the perception is a bit off. So sometimes they'll just jump and run off the building and die. Sometimes it was so much fun playing with them. It was just such a ball of laughter. That game is probably, a lot of people are enjoying it, and some people are getting ready to move on, but they are enjoying it. And Bowser's Fury, which is really, really good. It really stands out. So pretty much that's what I'm playing. I know I haven't touched my Xbox with Doom and stuff, but I will be making more effort to play that. I meant to play Destiny Beyond Light in this update content, but I'm going to be playing that a little bit soon. So pretty much everybody, that's what we've been playing. We're gonna move on to our news, and multiple Silent Hill reboots could be in the works. Is it time for a comeback? A comeback? This story comes from Game Informer. The Silent Hill series could be making a major comeback if a recent report by Video Games Chronicles is to be believed. According to the outlet, a prominent Japanese developer is currently handling an upcoming reboot of the series, expected to be revealed this summer, and Konami, the series publisher, has approached non-Japanese studios about making a new Silent Hill game. According to VGC sources, Konami has outsourced one future Silent Hill game to fellow Japanese company. While there's no specific details about the upcoming project, according to the people VGC spoke to, it's currently planned to be a departure for the long-running survival horror series. How and in what ways is unknown as of right now. So, on Thursday, Bloober Team CEO Piotr Babino told GameIndustry.biz that the studio is currently developing a new horror IP with a very famous gaming publisher. Bloober's team recent work includes Layers of Fear, the Blair Witch, and most recently the Xbox Series X as exclusive The Medium. So Bloober might be working on one. I know, LeRon, you covered this on Crossroads as your remote control, but what are your thoughts on it? Silent Hill is still a big franchise, but like the horror genre, it's kind of been needed in a sense. But what are your thoughts on it?
I wouldn't say it's a big franchise, but it is a beloved franchise. I mean, back in the days, like you had Resident Evil or you had Silent Hill. Mm-hmm. and of course, like Resident Evil, of course, has like the mainstream appeal and the staying power. But Silent Hill has always been like that dark horse and everything. We mentioned that we mentioned something about Silent Hill. As a matter of fact, Silent Hill reboots or whatever is one of our most wanted things over at Crossroads and stuff like that. So there is a lot of excitement. Nope. We just have to see what comes up about it, and remember when I streamed the first chapter of the Medium. Yes. Remember in the chat we were saying that this is giving us a Silent Hill vibe, which is good because for me, Silent Hill wasn't always my thing because I want my game to scare me. I don't want it to play with my emotions, like Alien Isolation did. But yeah, and that's why Silent Hill wasn't my thing. But like the way the Medium was kind of like doing call outs and giving the feel of Silent Hill, that was really great for me. And if the creative team behind the Medium is actually heading up a project on this is even more phenomenal because I mean that means they already understand the psychology behind how the game plays and how it messes with the actual player of the game and stuff like that. So I am looking forward to more news about it and seeing what happens, stuff like that. It's a shame. It's a shame Konami has let their major franchises get to this point. I mean, if we look back at like Konami's history, that we've had Capcom, we've had Gradius, we've had Metal Gear, we've had Silent Hill, we've had all the
Konami.
Yeah, Contra, Castlevania. You said Capcom. I'm just like company.
Wait, did I say Capcom?
Yeah, you said Capcom.
Oh, my bad. Konami. My bad. I've got Konami on the brain. Like Konami's just my thing, but yeah, Capcom's on my brain, but yeah, like look at all these franchises. I mean, this is stuff that a lot of us grew up with, like there's a legacy out there, and it's appalling to see like what Konami has actually let happen to like the franchises, the studios involved behind it, and all that stuff. So if anything comes up about some of the major IPs coming from Konami, the gaming audience and the gaming community are going to take a look. And Silent Hill is definitely a good place to start, but then you also need to let us know something about Metal Gear Solid.
Well, everybody could go play Metal Gear Rising Revengeance as it's celebrated. I think it's celebrated some kind of release, like it just got released a couple years back.
Is that the one that's more sci-fi, like more anime?
It's the Platinum Games one, the action pack one, yeah.
Yeah,
that's the one. That's the one.
it's
That's the
like
one.
the more samurai like one, right?
Yeah, that's the one with Raiden as the main
Right.
character.
Yeah.
That's the one I want to play. I still want to play that one because to me that's the most cool looking one.
It's on the 360 backwards compatible.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
you can buy it.
okay.
And also everybody go to there's a what happened on YouTube that breaks it down. They just released a video of it. What happened with the production of Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. I love that name, Revengeance. It's a made up word, but it's kind of cool. With it. Jesse, what are your thoughts? Can we see it in Silent Hill?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like we for sure are getting Silent Hill, but beyond, like the actual, Japanese team that, I thought that was confirmed that there was something in the works, but we just don't know the complete details. I don't know.
No, it's a rumor right now.
Okay. But yeah, as far as the Bluebird team stuff goes, I absolutely loved the medium, and one of the big selling points when they first announced that game was it was going to be the composer who worked on the Silent Hill games, who did all the music and stuff for the Silent Hill games. So it was almost like that they were putting, they made the medium to put that in their portfolio of reasons why they should, they could be a team to work on a Silent Hill game. It really, like you guys were saying, that game does have some Silent Hill feel to it. At the same time, though, it felt a lot like a Remedy game, and, speaking of, I could see Remedy, doing a Silent Hill game. I think that would be really interesting. Having them go, take that weirdness that they're really good at, but then putting it more in a creepier horror setting. Making them go a little bit more deeper into the darkness, I think would be really cool to see from Remedy. But I honestly, it doesn't matter to me. If we are getting Silent Hill, a new Silent Hill game, I'm all for it. And in my opinion, they still, the movies, I loved the movies. I think those were some of the first movies based on a game that I actually enjoyed. Because those Resident Evil movies, man. I love Resident me. I love Resident Evil, but those movies were just such a departure from a franchise that I just could not get into them. And I'm not an action person either. I don't really care for action movies. I'm always more sci-fi horror. And they leaned way too much into the action sci-fi and not enough into the horror in those movies. And I think that's what turned me off. Is I wanted those movies to be more like the Silent Hill movies, more horror than action.
All I can say is everybody go check out me and LeRon's recap about the Resident Evil franchise. With the movies. I know LeRon's ready.
No. Oh, I'm good. I just had to defend the Monster Hunter movie to two of my roommates that were not impressed with it, and I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, most people have been enjoying that movie. I feel like. As far as fans of the content, there's a couple of people who've that I've heard say that it was their favorite movie they've seen, this year.
We're talking about
the Monster Hunter. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
that because man,
Yeah,
because
like
my no,
I want to see it still, but yeah, I've been
it's
hearing.
it's a you know what, it's a good movie. I will, video game movies still having long way to go, and hopefully when we get to talking about Mortal Kombat here in a few, like
Mhm.
we'll have a little broader discussion about video game movies as a whole.
Mhm.
But video game movies have a way to go, and I put it like this: as a fan of Monster Hunter, I've been playing Monster Hunter for the entire 17 years. This franchise has been a thing. The Monster
Mhm.
Hunter movie to me, it was not bad. It was not a disappointing movie. As a Monster Hunter fan, maybe as a moviegoer, maybe that might be a different take on it. But even as a moviegoer, I feel like unless you study like theater and movie production and stuff like that, like this might be a movie that falls flat for you because like there are some tenets of storytelling that just don't work. And also there's other things involved in it. But the main thing about it is like when I heard the movie was coming out, the first thing I told myself is don't walk in there expecting to be disappointed. Actually, like go in there, look at the movie, see what's up with it, and then make your opinion. Now, the fact that I am a Monster Hunter player and a fan, like I also had to like sideline that. The
Mhm.
movie, the movie was definitely entertaining. You don't honestly have to know a lot about the game to actually watch this movie. That's the cool thing, and that's actually the great thing because Paul W.S. Anderson, he directed damn near all the Resident Evil movies. He directed
Yeah.
all but one of them. And he actually tried to spin the very first movie. He tried to spin like actual events from the first Resident Evil game, but he had
Mhm.
to where like it was like a side story to what was going on, and then like people really hated that, so Resident Evil basically spun off and became like its own franchise by itself.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things I was trying not to like have in the back of my brain with the Monster Hunter movie, and it actually was an entertaining movie. I gave it a B plus overall.
Yes.
If I actually decide to write, I may just write a review for it for Boss Rush. I haven't
Yeah.
written a review yet. I've done edits for people, but I haven't done an actual review yet. I may just do a review for it.
Yeah, like that's
Before you go, John, Jesse, let me give my thoughts on Silent Hill real quick.
okay.
One second.
Okay.
So I think it's a good comeback that's coming. I'm excited to see who they're going to be working with. I think the Medium would do a fantastic job, like for a Silent Hill game. I kind of wonder if they're talking to Nintendo for an exclusive one, for a Silent Hill game. Just saying, if they're talking to another Japanese developer, because I don't know who else could do horror outside of Capcom or anything, or like a little smaller company, a side company. But they could be talking to Nintendo about doing something. It'd be interesting.
So like
Have any Silent Hills been ported to the Switch? I don't recall.
Yeah, there was a Wii one. So there was an exclusive
I
Silent
said
Hill
the
game.
Switch. I said the Switch.
Oh no, I thought you said Nintendo in general.
Oh no, I said
No,
the
I
Switch.
thought you. No, I thought you was talking about no. Talking to Nintendo because of like maybe some ideas from Eternal Darkness may come into play with that. Right now Konami kind of needs in a sense a good outlook, and if they're if just saying this is just a just hyperbole or whatever people want to think about it, if they're talking to Nintendo of doing something kind of interesting with the Silent Hill thing, I will be intrigued to see it, because I know with Sony a lot of people want Metal Gear, so Konami people want more of Konami to talk to Sony about Metal Gear. Microsoft, because it doesn't have that presence in Japan yet, I don't think Konami's talking to them yet about anything just yet. The money is there, don't get me wrong, but the base in Japan. So I would be interested to see. So go ahead, Jesse, and then we're gonna move on to the next story.
Oh, yeah, I just was gonna, well, there are just two things. I was just gonna say, yeah, like I could see them definitely doing like the whole, kind of like what we're seeing right now with Star Wars, where Star Wars, there's Star Wars game that's coming to Switch exclusively. They've got, and then they've got multiple other projects that they're working on. you know. And then the other thing I was gonna say, like to LeRon about like movies based on games and stuff. Like the thing for me is like all I ask is that it complements the game franchise, and I just didn't like that was I just didn't feel like the Resident Evil movies complemented it. Like you said, LeRon, it kind of made it its own thing that kind of just like took bits and pieces of the franchise, but not enough to really complement it and just kind of make it their own thing. But and that's the thing. Like, it sounds like people feel like that. Like at least the Monster Hunter world or the Monster Hunter movie actually like kind of complements the franchise well enough. I mean, I'm sure there's still going to be people who won't like it, but I've heard quite a few people who've enjoyed it. So I've kind of been looking forward to watching it myself. But
that movie.
that's about
Good.
it.
It's good that the Monster movie's getting kind of. I think it's about to come out to like Blu-ray and DVD. I think you said like next week.
It comes out next month.
Okay, so and people who want to watch it, you can buy it on PlayStation. I think you can probably get it on Xbox also.
There's a couple of places I believe you can buy it right now.
I told LeRon, I think he says like watch the 4K HDR version. I'm going to buy that one and watch it on my Xbox because I want to see it in all of its glory and its goodness and stuff.
The one thing I will say for sure is like the monster movements and it's amazing. Like, I mean, like it wasn't just like like they made some monsters, but they didn't seem unrealistic, because let's be honest with you, like Monster Hunter monsters don't look all that realistic. They are spawned after, they are inspired by things that are on this planet, but at the same time, they're unrealistic as hell.
And sometimes they're cheap, because Monster Hunter real monsters, some of them just like, you cheap mother. So.
I have no comment.
Okay. Well, we're gonna move on to the next story, our final story. The Mortal Kombat trailer has just dropped. Everybody has lost their mind. They love seeing it. What are you guys thinking of this trailer?
Well, I'm super excited. Like I've always been like when it comes to fighting games, Mortal Kombat was really my first real I don't get me wrong, I absolutely enjoyed playing Street Fighter on my Game Boy, back in the day. But when Mortal Kombat came out, it was like, oh wow, you can actually do like legitimate, realistic, photorealistic characters basically of people, in a game, and just like the way they did all that and all that stuff was just so cool. Like, and playing it in the arcades and stuff like that. Like just like seeing that demo screen playing the game and walking by it and seeing that for the first time was just so amazing. Because it just was so different. It was just something you hadn't seen yet, and so like I've loved all the movies, even with their corniness and their cheesiness. The TV shows back in the day were great. I'm probably the only person in the world who loved the spin-off game where you played as Sub-Zero and it was a side scroller.
I remember that.
I loved that game. I wish they would bring make another one of those, because it was just such a fun concept of basically all you're doing is you would learn the move set of all your special abilities that you actually have in the game, but you just side scroll and then you just be fighting everyone as you go. And I loved that game, but I mean, I know I know there's a lot of things about it that technically, didn't perform great, but like I could so see a game like that again, and I think it would be awesome. I still think that was great. So yeah, I'm super excited for this movie, and just like to see a movie that hopefully like will be take it a little bit more seriously. Just from the trailer and everything that we're seeing, it seems like it's gonna have that fun, like goofiness to it, but at the same time take itself seriously a little bit. And I'm looking forward to it, like of kind of like getting to see how these characters become kind of who they are.
All right. What about you, LeRon?
You know what? I honestly have only seen. I saw the teaser trailer and I saw this trailer, and that's where I stop at because I am so hyped for this movie right now that I need to be completely surprised by everything I saw. That Sub-Zero scene. Oh my god! and I swear. And I swear to you, I already saw too much. Like when he met up with Jax, I already saw too much. So at this point, I can't wait for HBO Max to get it because I am watching that. I am watching it hardcore.
Yeah, I think they're going to probably get a lot of subscribers to watch it. I am hype about this movie. I think what I'm looking more forward to is the fights itself. I want to see the choreographed fights and the camera angles and how, like, just some of the set environments. It speaks like very. It has that Japanese feel to me.
Yeah.
And where it's just like, oh, this stands out, or this fight is good, and everything. I'm excited for this. I know why people are getting hyped. I love the first Mortal Kombat. I thought it was campy and everything, but it's such a good movie still to this day. Like every time I watch it on Netflix and stuff, I could watch the stuff. I could laugh at some parts. The dialogue was good and everything. I'm excited for this. And LeRon, you brought up video game movies and things like that. I think like that last Tomb Raider movie that came out, the modern one, that was really good.
I love that movie too.
You know what?
Because of the
hold on, I'm not really about to say anything negative about the Tomb Raider movies, like these new ones that are out. Like because they are good, but I feel like there's like some oomph factor that was missing, especially when you look at like what Tomb Raider the franchise is, as well as what Tomb Raider's potential. I feel like in all honesty, like the Image comics, like the Wildstorm comics of Tomb Raider, did a lot more to encompass Tomb Raider than the movies. Most of the movies have.
The reboot one took more from that feel of the reboot games. That's probably why. I was just talking to Beyond WSD. Shout out to them. We were talking about Hitman, the Hitman movie. Like the first one, I enjoyed the first Hitman movie. I thought it was very stylized, action packed, and everything, and it kind of fit what the Hitman series is. But I definitely enjoyed it. Now, Street Fighter 2, the movie that was, as a kid, you fell in love with it. Watching it as an adult, you'd be like, what in the world is this? It's like the Double Dragon movie. What in the world was that?
What the hell is a Super Mario Brothers movie?
I still don't know.
See the Super Mario movie, the Street Fighter movie, like those movies I like for the same reason that I like cheesy B or D, whatever horror movies that you want to call them, like the really cheesy, horrible ones.
No,
I love that kind of stuff. Like I just love the goofiness of that Mario movie. Like it's so bad that it's good.
I was out when they were like, "What's your name?" Mario.
Yeah,
Luigi Mario. I was out.
I love that movie. It's just so bad. It's good.
Okay, so and Uwe Boll did do a lot, but we won't mention none of his movies because like Posto and In the Name of the King and all of that. did he do House of the Dead? He may have. All of those just like cash grabs, and they are not good.
And you see that is the major problem with a lot of these movies. I'm not sure if like they get directors that don't take it seriously, or if it's like the actual companies. There's like, you know what, we'll throw some money this way and see what turns up. It's hard to understand because in all seriousness, you know, as gamers, like we love these franchises and stuff like that. So we're always kind of in this situation where it's like, come on, man, we know this is not going to be good and stuff like that. But you know, we go to the theaters anyway, or we go rent it on demand and whatnot, you know, and try to see what's up, you know. But I feel like for the most part, like the studios and directors don't take it seriously, and you know that becomes problematic, and then they're like, oh well, we're shutting down this whole production now and all that stuff, and it's like, no, that's not how you do it. Like,
to be clear, everybody, we're talking about the real life adaptations. We're not talking about the animated or CGI versions. All right.
Yeah, I think part of some of those movies, like the way they turned out, is also a product of the time, where you have like a direction that movies are kind of you know, like going and stuff, and they kind of want to go for the feel of maybe what's popular during that time, and it doesn't always communicate well with what they're trying to do with the, you know, with the property that they're using. Like, you know, like with the Mario movie, like that, like they just, it's definitely, it feels like a 90s or whatever movie, you know, like it feels weird, and you know, it's just, I think we're seeing more and more game movies come out that are actually doing well, because now, like, you know, we have things like the MCU and stuff, and you know, in the Spider-Man movies, and you know, in DC stuff, and you know, like there's
more character.
They're trying to like almost, you know, like mirror that kind of style of movie, you know, a little bit more actiony with a little bit of humor, you know, like, because that's what's popular right now. And so like but it lends well to video game movies to try to make them similar to like a Marvel type movie, or you know, things like that. I think, or even like, you know, like a Mission Impossible, or you know, stuff like that.
Right. It's surprising to see like Pokemon, the Pikachu movie do so well. Detective Pikachu doing so well, and Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, after the backlash that it got, they went up and fixed it, and look how hit of that is. I think right now,
you know what? I don't know if we should really say that though, because like even though the movie's getting a sequel, that studio that actually did the work and fixed the edits and all that stuff and fixed like Sonic, they shut that studio down.
When?
Just recently, Corey and I were talking about it earlier. This we were talking about it on Sunday on the Standard Definition podcast. Like that studio that did all that work to correct the CG effect, the CG look for Sonic and reanimate him and everything. That studio is out of a job.
I didn't even see that story.
They put their work in, and they got fired as thanks.
Oh wow! I'm about to look that story up. I didn't hear anything about it.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, like wow. I was shocked too. Like when Corey was like, "Yeah, I just found out they shut that studio down."
Oh wow! Well, everybody.
I just LeRon, did you ever see the Parasite Eve movie?
Yes, I did. And I have mixed feelings about it, because that's straight from Japan. So you know, the Japanese adaptations of like crossover. I call it crossover franchises. Like when you have a video game franchise that becomes a movie or become TV show or comic books that do this stuff. I call it all crossover content. Japan, they either do it super accurate or they go completely off the rails with it. And so the Parasite Eve one, for me, it was entertaining.
Yeah, I had to watch. I didn't know they did a movie.
Yeah, the thing is though is I think it goes more with the because that wasn't originally it was a I don't know if it was a manga or just an actual like book, but like like that game is actually based off of a book, and the movie is I believe is based off of the book as well. So I don't. That's the only hard part is I've never read the books. So I don't know if that movie maybe is going more towards something that's happening in the books than it is the actual game. But
the Parasite Eve game, the Parasite Eve game is actually the game itself is actually a sequel to a novel that was written by Hideki Sena Sena. Yeah, so the first game in the Parasite Eve series is technically a sequel to whatever book was written. And I never read the book, so
yeah.
Now I might just wind up on my book reading list now.
I would be interested in reading that as well, or even if they're.
Hopefully it's localized well.
I actually thought Parasite Eve was just a new IP that Square did. I didn't know that there was
it's a new IP that was based off of another IP.
Reading as a child, reading EGM or a teen, I think that when the game came out, reading that at EGM, I don't think they may have made that connection, but it's been years for it. Well, everybody, that's been our news. We're going to get into our main discussion, and then we're going to head on out. So I have a question for you guys. What is happening with controller quality? Could it be design or faulty parts? And how long should it take for a redesign? Everybody knows that Nintendo's dealing with a class action lawsuit with the Joy-Con drift. Sony got hit with one with some of their drift. Some are saying it is happening with some of the Xboxes, but me and Jesse actually talked about it, and they were like it's more of a connection problem than the drifting. So what did you guys think? You know, back in the days, controllers were really good. They first party controllers.
No.
For first party controllers, hold on, LeRon.
Because I remember my original NES controllers giving me fits back in the days when I was young. I remember this.
Okay. Well, hold on. We know,
and that's not me singling Nintendo out either.
That's all I know. Back in the day, that when controllers, some controllers came with a lot of consoles, they worked, and you just bought another controller. You really didn't have any problems unless you were smashing them or throwing them down, like stuff like that. But right now, it kind of seems like a little bit concerning that we're getting these consoles and this drift thing is happening. So. That's kind of the question that I have. Okay, now LeRon, go ahead. What did you think? What's happening with controller quality?
Okay. So my first statement, putting it aside real fast. For the most part, I think first party controllers they're well. They do well. Like they usually stand up. I mean, you know, with lots of. I think the problem with, like, for example, because I have two PS5 controllers, I don't have any drift. But then again, you know, like, it's not like I'm putting like super mileage on my controllers either. Like, I'm getting ready to start using one of my PS5 controllers as my PC controller, so that's going to be interesting. But you know, every controller has that issue, and you know, if we're going to talk about the PS5 controllers, for example, there's so many mechanisms in this controller that there is a good possibility that, you know, like, they're starting to get worn out. Because I know this, when I was playing Miles Morales, like, you know, I felt like sometimes I was just going way too hard on my controllers, and what I realized is not so much that I'm beating the controller up, is the fact that that tactile response is pushing back against me. So I was here thinking I'm not pressing the controller hard enough, when the controller's like, no, you're pressing us hard enough, we're trying to let you know that you're doing the job. Stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, there's already a documented first person who's broken their triggers because of that haptic feedback
on the DualSense controllers,
where they broke it because of that pushback and them pushing it, and then all of a sudden they said it just felt weird, and it didn't work right after that anymore.
Yeah, but but for the most part, I believe that practically all the first-party controllers are built pretty well and sturdy. Now, that being said, like, not every there's always going to be we in the PC community we call it the hardware lottery. Technically, it's called the silicon lottery, but like not everything's built the same way. We call it the hardware lottery because let's say you print 1 million of the same thing. There's going to be like a small percentage of ones that like are built sturdy enough, but there is not the exact same sturdiness as like the one that may have been off the line right before it and stuff like that. Now, what's interesting about this though is the Joy-Con drift situation with Nintendo Switch controllers. I, as a Nintendo Switch owner, haven't started encountering any drift yet, and I've had my Switch for almost 3 years now. And yes, I play my Switch more in handheld mode than I do in dock mode. So if anyone's a prime candidate for Joy-Con drift, it's going to be me. And I think one of the major I think one of the major factors about why it's so incensing for Joy-Con drift is because like Nintendo has the Joy-Cons are the most expensive basic controller on the market. It's more expensive than their Pro controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you come to think about it that we have the Switch Lite now, which is all one piece of hardware, and there's a good possibility that the Joy-Cons that are built onto the actual console now are actually still using the same patent and manufacturing structure. That's maddening. So I get it now. I get why like Nintendo owners are more than frustrated, and also when they turn around, like they reach out to Nintendo customer service and stuff and try to get help and stuff like that, they don't get the best answers. And by the way, people always complain that they have to pay for shipping charges. Usually what happens is you pay for shipping charges to go there, and they always cover the shipping cost and send it back to you.
Yes,
So everybody stop complaining about that, because no matter what, unless the company automatically says, hey, we're gonna RMA this for you, we'll send you the shipping label and all that stuff, like then you're not paying for the shipping and that stuff. But most times
I did that with my Wii when I had to get it sent in. I had to pay for the shipping, but it covered the cost of me shipping it to them and getting the ship back. So it was like one time fee. It was like I think it was like only about like $7.
Yeah, so this is LeRon Dawkins telling all the entitled gamers out there, stop thinking that just because it's broken that they take 100% responsibility for it. If they're going to give you a replacement controller, being inconvenienced at $5 to $11 to ship it, come on, guys.
Yeah.
But
they're already losing money on having to replace it for free or fix it or whatever. Yeah, the least you can do is pay to have it shipped to them so they can do the work for you.
And another thing too, and I'm gonna be Nintendo's and Sony's and Microsoft's friend about this too. Not only are they having to eat the cost of having to like ship you a new one, repair the one you have and then ship it back, stuff like that. They also have to sink R&D time and money into trying to find out what caused the problem in the first place. So it's one of those other things. So like, yeah, when we get like the Joy-Con version 2.0 or 2.9 or whatever, like just note that this has been blood, sweat, and tears and money spent into them trying to fix the problem, so they don't have a universal problem again when they say, "Hey, we're rolling out the new controller." Sony, I read some on the class action lawsuit, and I'll be honest with you, I think these are just people being opportunists because they know it's been a big deal for Nintendo for what, like 3 years now.
Yeah.
So this legal group is like, hey, we already have another precedent. We have a precedent for this already because Nintendo's been having this problem. So I think that's where the class action lawsuit's coming from. I'm not saying that it's just a cash grab. But I feel like you know how the legal world works. If there's one precedent that's been set, like they run with it. Here we are. Still.
Yeah, if it's in the popularity's mindset, they can use the momentum of other cases to push for theirs. Basically, is what's happening.
You know what's weird though, because like whenever I buy something on Amazon, like typically what I'll do is I'll look at the reviews, and usually what I do is I look at the 1-star reviews first. And I kid you not, I see more 1-star reviews for operator and user error than I see for actual real defects. And I guarantee you, a lot of this stuff, some of it more than likely is chalked up to like operator problems. I'm not putting the blame on the consumers. But sometimes, if you don't have an understanding of how things are, like for example, like the Xbox controllers, they're drifting, possibly being software related. If you don't have an understanding about how that is, it's real easy to get caught up in the fact that, oh, this is broken and I'm wasting all my money.
Yeah. Jesse, what are your thoughts about controller quality?
I mean, I was just gonna, because you guys have kind of touched on a lot already. Like the other thing is too is like LeRon was just saying, I actually had an issue where my controller, whenever I played certain games, my Xbox controller was drifting. But I found out that you can actually fix it. Like what was happening is I accidentally had my dead zone set too low. And if you have your dead zone set too low in a game, you'll actually notice drift, because every controller possibly has drift there, but on a software level, that's where you don't notice it. And so I do think that a lot of this could just be a matter of adjustments from a software level, or I don't know if a lot of games, other than first person shooters, really allow you to adjust the dead zones and things like that. I think honestly that a lot of these issues could probably end up being fixed by literally letting you adjust dead zones of your joysticks. I think there's just, when you're dealing with technology that, that's very, very responsive and touchy. It honestly could just be a matter of us on a software level, that could fix it, and so it's really hard to say, and hopefully they do figure out what exactly is wrong with a lot of these. But I do think that, with some of these, jumping to conclusions too quickly, when it's a newer product, isn't always the right thing to do. I think, at least with the Nintendo one, there was some time. There's quite a bit of time before people really started, going after things or asking for, some kind of change, because we see this with cars, where things get recalled or whatever, where you'll hear a lot of things, people will have a lot of issues with that same thing on that same model of car, but it's usually not until a while that model has been out that we finally start getting recalls. Because they try not to jump to the conclusion that this is a problem on every car, right away. They gotta kind of figure out what's going on, and then see if they can look at other models and see if they see that same issue, being dormant there or whatever. So it's a really difficult situation. Because it does all matter on use and everything too, like user error and how you treat your controller, how you play your controller, that all depends on how much wear and stuff you get on your controller. I mean, it's I don't want to say that these people are wrong for complaining, or wanting issues, because that is these companies' job to make sure that they're taking care of the people who are willing to spend money and give them money. Don't get me wrong. I am not protecting them 100%, but I do think that there does need to be a little time, and time will tell whether it is really an issue that does need to be solved. And most times when that does happen, you're gonna be able to replace it. I mean, if it comes to the point of where they feel like it is a real issue, they will eventually, you will get it fixed, and people don't really have to worry about it at that point. But
it's good. It's good you mentioned that. Let me just say this real fast, Ed. It's good you mentioned that, because the one thing that these companies don't want is well, two things. They don't want a customer service nightmare, and they don't want a PR nightmare. And nine times out of 10, when these companies sit down and they realize, oh, this is a hardware defect. This is why recalls happen. This is why reissues happen. This is why people get credits on future purchases and stuff like that. So it's a problem with consumerism. Like and in this day and age, with COVID and stuff, and money being tight and stuff, I understand how quickly it is to be infuriated that something you spent hard-earned money for, that you may not have that same money again next week. I understand why it's infuriating. Oh, okay, Ed, that was it. That was it for me.
And I agree with you guys. Seeing it, to me personally, like, I really don't encounter a lot of controller problems with this quality. I have had some Joy-Con drift, but I do a lot of my gaming on my Switch with my Pro controller because it feels good with my hands.
And actually, the Pro controller is a sturdier controller than the Joy-Cons. I always feel, even before I actually had my first Switch, and I heard my first Switch, my only Switch. I say my first Switch because I'm thinking about plopping down $300 and $350 for that Monster Hunter one.
Dude,
if it's a thing in the States. If it's a thing in the States, because I'm not sure if I'm going to import this thing.
Best Buy has it. They do up.
Best Buy has what?
They have the pre-orders up
for the console.
Yeah,
for the console.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have told me that. You really shouldn't have told me that.
Go ahead and go see if it's still up, because I don't think anybody ordered it. Because I pre-ordered my controller, my Monster controller. I had to have that.
Well, I know they have the Pro controllers, which I'm not feeling it.
We'll talk later.
No. You don't have to.
I think the thing with controller quality now is that they have a lot of ideas, and definitely when they're doing the research and development and like building the controller, they're not encountering these issues. They probably have, and they've probably been able to work it out and everything. Just like you said, LeRon, like this is data for them when you send it in their controllers and get them what the problem is. They get that data. I think some people just overreact with some of these lawsuits, like they want so much money. I'm like, for what reason? Because the thing about it is, what you think you're going to get back, you got to pay all of those lawyers who is going to be taking the hit of this. So they're going to take their cut.
They're going to take a cut out of the class action lawsuit. Which is also funny, because like I've seen times where people like sign on to they'll sign on to a class action lawsuit, and the class action lawsuit has a value. So let's say, for example, a class action lawsuit has a $100 million value. People sign on to the class action lawsuit, but they don't realize is they're not getting $100 million back. They're probably getting maybe $5 out of that $100 million.
Hold on, LeRon. Everybody go read that Rockstar article when that class action lawsuit happened with the new code, and they sued Rockstar for that PC thing and the AO stuff. And Rockstar lost, and so they had to give people money for it. I think what they got back was like $15.
Yeah,
exactly. And $15.
And the reason why is because, for all that money, you have to factor in the legal cost, which the law firm gets first, and then the plaintiffs, which are everybody that signs on to it. There's over 330 people in the United States. 330 million people in the United States. Let's just say, for example, the entire country signs on to a class action lawsuit. There's not enough money in the world to cover all those people if it's for the actual price of the lawsuit.
Yeah. The funny and the thing is, in order for you to get to get their money, they had to send their copy in of the game. So the $50 that you paid for Grand Theft Auto, you're only getting $5 back from the class action. You're getting less than credit at GameStop for an old game that didn't even because the thing about it is someone modded or they found a code on PC and they thought it was on console and it wasn't.
and guess what? I will start fighting. If I'm getting trade-in value from GameStop for a class action lawsuit, I'm fighting somebody.
It was an utter mess. Final word on this topic, you guys. Did you think when that happens, did you think a redesign would happen, or do you think that, or like, what are your thoughts for? Do a redesign need to happen, or where do we go from there?
When you say a redesign, when you say redesign, be careful with us in this video gaming age right now, because a redesign means like a PS4 Pro, or like that's a redesign of the PlayStation. When you, I think if anything, it's going to be more like an update, because they're going to have to make adjustments to the patent in the manufacturing process. So like it'll still look like a DualSense controller. But like some of the inner mechanisms will be different, and so yeah, I think that they're not even going to go back to the drawing board. They're going to do the research, find out what is causing the problem, and they're going to make the fix or the adjustment to that particular thing, because completely redesigning it, that loses money.
Yeah, or if it can be fixed on a software level, they'll do it there.
Yeah,
in the update.
And mostly, if they redesign the controller, they're redesigning the system in a sense. Because like the Super Nintendo, when they redesigned that one, they kind of redesigned the controller for that and stuff. If they go in like kind of like the Elite controller in a sense, it's not a redesign in particular.
Well, the Elite 2 controller is a redesign from the original one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's actually way different like setup and structure to the inside compared to the original one.
Yeah. So, but everybody, that is our Jesse. Your final thoughts on that? I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, I mean, I just, the only thing I really have to add is I wouldn't be surprised if it's, like look at controllers, you can get updates for controllers on a software level and stuff all the time. Like I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it was just a software thing, or, an adjustment of the sensitivity and things like that, like I said. I've had drift on my Xbox controller in the one game because I had it, set too low, the dead zone, and I literally changed that and it fixed it and it was fine. So I think there are ways to fix those issues on a software level. You don't even have to mess with the hardware. So
everybody, treat your controller with respect. If things do happen, you gotta sit it in. Sit back, read a book, go outside if you can. Watch a movie, or if you own another console, play some gaming on there. You also got PC gaming that you can always do too. But that everybody is gonna what?
If it's the way you say it sounds like either get in or get out.
But everybody, that's gonna be our show for this week. I want to thank you guys for watching us, joining us in the chat. LeRon, go ahead and plug.
All right, you can find me on social media, Exodus803. Also the Twitch, also my Twitch channel as well, and that's also my gamer tag. Don't forget, check us out Tuesday nights 8 p.m. on my Twitch channel for the PlayStation Crossroads show. One more time, this Tuesday's episode is the 25th episode of the series, and it's a special one. So like, you may want to come in and tune in for this one, because we've got something in store for you.
Jesse, where can we find you? Jesse, where can we find you?
You can find me almost everywhere as Phantom NXS. And as far as Arsenal X goes, I haven't really gotten a chance to talk to anyone this week. So I don't know what's happening this week, if I'm just hosting it or if me and Corey are doing it or what's going on. But so yeah, like I either way we'll have an episode of Arsenal X this week. We're still in the process of figuring all that out. It might, who knows, it might even end up just being like audio for maybe a little while until I can get everything together, because I still don't have any of the stuff for the to make a video form, all the fun little things, the setup stuff. So yeah, but
we'll get it together.
Yeah. Either
You
way,
guys
there'll
can-
be an Arsenal X.
You guys can find me on Twitter at the Retro Code. Check out Nintendo Pop Block on Mondays. We will be going back live again. I apologize. I'm still working this thing, trying to figure out what's going on with where it's working one way, then it won't work the other way. I'm still trying to get it together and everything. You guys,
Its production woes. Like you saw like we tried to start live on my end and something acted up.
yeah. You guys can catch me on Recap Talk the Walk. Check out, like I said, Dan's article about the 10 moments I pressed them for the Nintendo Direct. Check out my 5 new IPs. And we got more writings coming for you guys. You guys are going to be really excited with that. Also check out the definition. Check out 1v1 and more content here at Boss Rush Games. And also, congratulations to Tower Casual by you guys seeing this. They have 1,000 downloads, so congratulations to them. Very fantastic, very proud of Josh and Corey about that. With that, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we will see you next time on the Boss Rush Podcast. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.
Sayonara. Adios. Auf Wiedersehen.